Hello everyone, I am Anushka Sharma. Today I am solving the first internal test paper of Introduction to Data Science. In this video, we are going to solve the part A of this test paper, which is statistical characterization of feedback data. So let's start. Here the question number 1 is give 3 more commonly used statistical measure for characterizing dispersion in student feedback data and discuss how these measures can be computed effectively or efficiently in large database. So the question provide variations which is related to variance and standard deviation as an example. Three other commonly used statistical measures that characterizing dispersion or spreads are first one is range. Range is the smallest measure of dispersion calculated as a difference between the maximum and minimum value in the dataset. Second one is standard deviation. Standard deviation measures the average amount of variability or spread in the dataset. It is the square root of variance. It is widely used as it's in the same unit as the original data. And the formula as on the screen where the mu is the mean and the n is the number of data points. And the third one is interquartile range, IQR. IQR measures the spread of the middle 50% of data. It is a difference between the third quartile and the first quartile, Q1. It is a robust against outliers. And the formula of IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Efficient computations in large datasets range require only two aggregate functions max x and min x. This is highly efficient and can be computed in a single pass over the data. For standard deviation or standard variation can be computed efficiently using Welfort's algorithm or a similar single pass algorithm. These methods mainly in the count, the mean and the sum of the square difference or the M2, the second movement in an online shop fashion, avoiding the need of the stores all data points and make multiple passes. Modern database systems often have highly optimized built-in functions for standard deviation. Last one is interquartile range IQR. It requires computing Q1 and Q3 for very large dataset. Except the computation of quantile can be memory intensive. Efficient computation often rely on approximate quantile algorithms like t-digest or p-square method, which summarize the distribution in small fixed size structure, allowing for the quick and reasonable accurate estimation of the quartile without scanning the entire dataset. Now the question number 2 is suppose that the student feedback data on the module for faculty mentoring effectiveness is given as sorted order. As you can see, starting from 13 to 70. Now question number A, which is what is the mean rating and what is the median? Now here we find the mean and median for this sorted order data. For mean, we sum all the scores and divide it by the number of total scores, which is 27. So the sum of all scores is 814, which is divided by 27. So the mean will be 30.15. And for median, the middle value of the sorted data, since the total number of scores is 27, which is odd, so the median will be n plus 1 divided by 2, which comes the 14th value as 25. So the median will be 25. Question number B. What is the mode of the data and comment on its modality like bimodal, trimodal, etc. So the mode, the value that appears most frequently. In the dataset, the score 25 and the 35 appears 4 times while other scores appears only once or twice in the dataset. So the mode will be 25 and 35. And modality, we can say that the dataset is bimodal as it has two modes. For question number 3, what is the range of the dataset? For the range, we minus the maximum value, we minus the minimum value from the maximum value. The maximum value of the data set is 70 and minimum value is 13. So the range will be 57. Question number D. Estimate the first quartile Q1 and the third quartile Q3. The quartile divide the datasets into four parts. We use the median to find the halves. So for the first quartile, the median of the lower half data, which is 13, and the median of 13 will be the seventh value of the dataset, which is 20. So Q1 is 20. And for third quartile, the median of the upper half of the dataset of the last 14 values, Q3 is the seventh value from the end. So the seventh value from the end of the remaining dataset will be 35. So the Q3 will be 35. Now in question E, give the 5-number summary of the ratings. A sampler of the data usually refers a small represented subset. Give a full data set on the small numbers 27, a commonly illustrative sample of the 5-number summary, which includes a minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum of the data set. So the 5-number summary of this data set will be 13, 20, 25, 35, and 70. This 5-number summary is used in the next question to draw the box plot of the data. As you can see on the screen, the box plot for the 5-number summary for this data set. Now, question number G is how is QQ plot different from the quantile plot in this context? So, the QQ plot used to determine if the data fits a particular distribution, example normal. It plot a quantile of the data against the quantile of the theoretical distributions, like Gaussian. If the point lie on a straight diagonal line, the data fits the distribution. While in quantile plot, plots the data value against their rank or quantile. It shows the distribution of the unvariant data itself. Now move to the next question. Question number 3. Suppose student infrastructure satisfaction score are grouped into intervals with the following distributions as you can see on the table, and the approximate median for the group data will be like this. In the distribution table, the total number of student sum is 3194 and the median position is n by 2, which is 1597. Locating the median class, cumulative frequency up to 16 to 20 is 950 and the cumulative frequency up to 21 to 50 is 950 plus 150 equals to 2 2450. Since 950 is less than 1594 and 1594 is less than 2450, the median lies in the 21 to 50 class. Now, using standard interpolation for the group median, here is the formula of median, where L is lower boundary, which is 21, and CF cumulative frequency before, which is 950, and the frequency of the median class is 1500. H, the class width, which is 50 minus 21 is 29, assuming including integer range. So we put the values in the formula like this, and the approximate medium score will come is 33.5. Now move to the next question. Question number 4. In the Department of Lifelong Learning, a feedback survey collect both student age and their self-assessment of learning productivity percentage for 18 students. As you can see the table from the age 23 to the age 61 and the productivity percentage as below respectively. So the A to calculate the mean, median and standard deviation of age and person productivity. So for the age, mean will be age divided by 18, as the total number of a student is 18, so we sum all the age and then divide it by 18, so the mean comes approximately 46.44. Median is the average of the ninth and the 10th value, which is 50 and 52, so the value will be 51 as median. For standard deviation, we use the formula of the standard deviation, which is the high variance due to the spread from 23 to 61. For productivity, the mean will be 28.78 and median, shorted value needed, middle value are roughly 30.8, average of 13.2 and 13.1. So the standard deviation for productivity is measure spread around the 28.78 mean. Now B part, draw a box plot for both. In this, we draw the box plot for age and productivity. You can see on the screen, and the scatter plot for age versus productivity, and a QQ plot, which contain the ordered value and the theoretical quantiles. As it mentioned in the C part, then we have to draw a scatter plot and a QQ plot to study the relationship. In a scatter plot, used to analyze the relationship between variables, plot age on the x-axis and productivity on the y-axis. This visualize the correlation in x and y. In QQ plot, construct by plotting the sorted age and productivity quantiles against theoretical normal quantile to check if the data follow a Gaussian distribution. As it shows a straight line, so it follow the Gaussian distribution. Thank you. We complete the first part of the internal test. Oh, finally. Okay.